Hello, this is J.R. Hoffines reading from Milton Erickson works for my class PSY 3310, this term 2 in 2020. The book I'll be reading from today is called My Voice Will Go With You. It's by uh, Sidney Rosen, a psychiatrist who was associated with Dr. Milton Erickson. The first case report I'd like to read today out of this book is called To Jesus Christ. Dr. Erickson worked on psych wards a good bit of his career. To Jesus Christ. I had two Jesus Christ on the ward, and they spent the entire day explaining, I am Jesus Christ. They buttonholed everybody and explained, I am the real Jesus Christ. And so I put John and Alberto on a bench and told them, you sit there now, and each of you tells me you're Jesus Christ. Now, John, I want you to explain to Alberto that you, not he, are Jesus Christ. Alberto, you tell John you are the real Jesus Christ and that he is not. You are. I kept them sitting on that bench, explaining to each other all day long that they were the true Jesus Christ. And after about a month, John said, I'm Jesus Christ, and that crazy Alberto says that he is Jesus Christ. I said to John, you know, John, you say the same thing that he says, and he says the same things that you say. Now, I think that one of you is crazy because there is only one Jesus Christ. John thought that over for a week. He said, I am saying the same things as that crazy fool is saying. He is crazy, and I'm saying what he says. That must mean I'm crazy too, and I don't want to be crazy. I said, well, I don't think you're Jesus Christ, and you don't want to be crazy. I'll have you work in the hospital library. He worked there a few days and came to me and said, there's something awfully wrong, and every book has my name on every page. He opened the book and showed me John Thornton. On every page, he found his name. I agreed and showed him how on every page Milton Erickson appeared. I had him help me find Dr. Hugh Carmichael's name, Jim Glitton's name, Dave Shadow's name. In fact, we could find any name we thought of on that page. John said, these letters don't belong to my name. They belong to that word. I said, that's right. John continued working in the library. 6 months later, he went home free of his psychotic identifications. Here's the commentary from Sidney Rosen after that case report story. Erickson does not rely on ordinary methods of persuasion, but instead, in both instances, places John into situations where he can discover for himself that his ideas are delusional. Erickson relies on the technique of mirroring the patient's behavior. In the first example, Erickson arranges for the delusion to be mirrored by another patient who conveniently happens to suffer from the same delusion. In the second situation, Erickson himself mirrors the behavior by finding his own name on the page. This mirroring approach is utilized by Robert Lidner in his classic story, The Jet-Propelled Couch. Erickson once told me that Lidner had been his student and had consulted with him before publishing his book, The 50-Minute Hour, which contains this story. The story is about a therapist whose patient lived in a delusional world. When the therapist belabors the patient with excited tales about his own trips, his experiences in those worlds, when he joins the patient in his delusions, the patient assumes the therapist role and tries to show him that the type of thinking in which they both had immersed themselves is indeed delusional. do another one out of this book. The next case report is called The Man Who Cursed Life, and it's out of the one called Hope and Resiliency by Dan Short and Betty Alice, Erickson's wife and Erickson's daughter. This is a section called The Human Condition. Case report, The Man Who Cursed Life. A man was brought to Erickson in a wheelchair with arms and knees fixed to the chair. He was angry and cursed the fact that he had spent the last 11 years paralyzed by painful arthritis. He could move only his head, and had some slight movement in one thumb. He was completely dependent on his wife, who dressed him, put him in his wheelchair every morning, then fed him and put him to bed at night. All the while, he continued cursing about his unhappy life. Erickson's statements were simple and to the point. He reproached the man for his lack of movement, saying, "You have a thumb that will move, and you better move it. You better exercise your goddamn thumb every day in order to pass the fucking time." The man responded to Erickson's medical advice by becoming defiant, wanting to prove to Erickson that he could wiggle the damn thumb all day and night and all week and all month, and it would not do any damn good. The man went home absolutely determined to make his point. But as he continued to exercise his thumb, he suddenly noticed movement in his index finger, the digit most likely to be affected by movement of the thumb. As the exercising progressed, he became able to move more fingers. He became fascinated by this. Each new sign of progress kept him absorbed in finding out how many more little movements he could get out of his fingers. Then he became able to move his wrist, and then finally his arms. These exercises became the man's method of passing time. Then, a year after his first appointment, Erickson gave him the task of painting a small cabin. The man responded by swearing as he informed Erickson that if he had any common sense, he would not send a man with such limited movement to paint a cabin. Erickson persisted. The assignment took him about 3 weeks. By the end of the summer, he increased his speed and was able to paint a stucco duplex in a week's time. Following these accomplishments, he got a job as a truck driver. Next, he decided he should join a fraternal order and was soon elected president of that order. During his ongoing work with Erickson, the man decided he needed a college education and went to college. Some symptoms of the man's severe arthritis remained. Despite this condition, Erickson explains, he looks forward to the rainy season each year and the 3 to 7 days during which he will be confined to bed with painful arthritis. The man was able to tolerate the intermittent bedridden condition because it gave him an opportunity to catch up on good books he wanted to read. Rather than being viewed as a relapse, the residual arthritis was identified as producing a vacation. That's it for today. 2 case stories from Dr. Milton Erickson's work, and there will be more to come. Thank you for attending my reading.